Let me tell you why, though. My MVP is Dak Prescott, and I preface this by saying the MVP is a joke. The award, it means something, but it's really just become a joke. And that's, if you've listened to me before, you've heard me before, my view on sports writers is it's this big propaganda machine, and they either hype someone up or dull someone down to their own personal views and preferences. And everybody does that to a degree, I understand. But when you're in a certain job, you're not supposed to have favorites or just write to your own agenda. I work with kids. I'm not allowed to just sit there and pick out the 4 or 5 that I really like and say, I'm going to help you guys if you're struggling on your homework or you get hurt, and just tell the ones I don't like, just rub some dirt on your scrape, or I hope you fail 2nd grade. If you notice something with MVP award winners, I'm going to read off a couple here, and this is where I think it got misconstrued when sports writers were voting for MVP. So if you hear some names pop up. Peyton Manning, Steve McNair, Peyton Manning, Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, Brady, Manning, Brady, Rodgers, Adrian Peterson, Manning, Rodgers, Cam, Matt Ryan. Wow. So we had an 8-year stretch where Manning won 3 times, Brady won twice, and Rodgers won twice. Which sports writers basically all got together and they're like, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take just the 2 most marketable guys in the NFL, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and we're just going to give them the MVP every year. Unless someone breaks a record, then we just have to give them it. Let me explain this. Hey, just because you break a record does not mean you were more valuable. You just broke a certain record. They do not correlate in terms of how valuable they truly are. The NBA, even though I think their MVP award is suspect too, they at least kind of have a consistent model, which is best player on the best team. And then every now and again, you will get a historic event or a truly outstanding storyline that breaks that trend, a la Russell Westbrook this last year. But otherwise, the real consistent best player, best team. Football, not even close, because let's look at the guys who won it that aren't Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, and then the quote-unquote next one in Aaron Rodgers. Sean Alexander broke touchdown record 2005, got MVP. 2006, LaDainian Tomlinson broke Sean Alexander's touchdown record from the year prior. Adrian Peterson, I respected that one because the man tore his ACL, which is something I hope to never experience in my life, and came back and ran for 2,000 yards. Cam Newton and Matt Ryan. This is where it gets interesting. We love, as people, good to great stories or from nothing to something stories. Now, Matt Ryan and Cam Newton aren't nothing to something. They were the 3rd overall draft pick, Matt Ryan was, and Cam Newton was the 1st overall draft pick. They went from good to great, and they kind of came out of nowhere in the years that they did. And Cam Newton, when he won his MVP, he was the first quarterback with 30 touchdowns passing and 10 touchdowns rushing. Although Tebow could have done it. Then Matt Ryan did it. He was a top 5 offense of all time. They scored the 3rd most points. They're behind just the Patriots. Or I think they're the 4th most points, I apologize. And I believe 2nd most yards. Or I might be mixing those 2 up. Then Matt Ryan won the NFL MVP. Well, let me give you an example that incorporates everything I just talked about, and I'm going to give it to you in one player. Name me the guy who has a good offensive line, a bunch of slot receivers, one dynamic target, and his storyline for this season will revolve around suspension. The easy answer is Tom Brady. Tom Brady had obviously his 4-game suspension last year, came back, won the Super Bowl, did not get MVP. Why? How do you fix Tom Brady's story? And how do you get him MVP? Well, you reverse who had the suspension. In Dak Prescott's case, his running back, who just won Rookie of the Year, he's going to end up being suspended for 4 to 6 games, or I don't know, Roger Goodell acts like the Supreme Court. He might be gone for 3 years. We never know. Dak Prescott, who is, with exception of complexion, everything Tom Brady is. When you have a guy who is a low round draft pick, he qualifies for the nothing to something. He's got the same set of type of targets as Tom Brady. Brady has Gronkowski. He has Dez Bryant. They both have good offensive lines. In Dak's case, he has a great offensive line. There is an article talking about them wanting to expand the playbook. And of course you're going to have to expand the playbook. They're not going to be able to sit there and hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott 25, 30 times a game. You're going to have to throw more. He doesn't turn the ball over. If I'm making projections, he's going to finish around 30 to 32 touchdowns, 6 or less interceptions. The Cowboys get 12, 13 wins. And because, just like Tom Brady did before, only reason he didn't get MVP for having the spectacular season, having the efficient season, is because the suspension was his. In Dak Prescott's case, the suspension is his running backs. That storyline, that headline benefits him. That narrative, the word I used about 1,000 times on Monday, and I have just been in a stretch of using it like 15, 20 times a day. The narrative of Dak Prescott winning with his running back being suspended, it being his second year in the league, him be a nothing to something storyline, all works in his favor. Only reason Brady didn't win last year is because his nothing to something, well, that was 15 years ago. We've known Tom Brady's great for the last 3 or 4 years. Or not the last 3 or 4 years, last 13, 14 years. We all make mistakes. It's early, guys. When you have a roster that is set up like the Patriots, you have a coach that New England's had for the last 13, 14 years in Belichick, you're not going to get the same benefits as far as the immediate storyline or as far as the big picture in present tense. Whereas all that stuff goes in Dak Prescott's favor. Dak Prescott is the Tom Brady the league's looking for. They don't quite have a Peyton Manning yet, or the next Peyton Manning, to compete with him for MVPs. But they've got the Tom Brady. They've got the nothing to something storyline. They've got, which will probably end up being a record-breaking season in terms of touchdowns to interceptions for his first 2 seasons, passing yards for his first 2 seasons, rushing yards for his first 2 seasons as a quarterback. So they're going to have the records. They're going to have the storylines. They're going to have the nothing to something. Makes all the sense in the world for Dak to be your 2017 MVP. Big fan. I have a Madden fantasy draft that I did, and he was my second round pick as my quarterback, and he did great things for me.